is a trend that's going to continue to grow. Sailor really broke the play.
Oh, okay, we're live. I'm watching the Kraken. I'm sorry, I'm watching the Bitcoin conference live, and maybe I can show you some of that. Let me check, make sure my mic looks like it's working. Hello, hello. Maybe I got the wrong mic going. Let's see. No, it should be. Looks good. So, what I wanted to show and point out, and let me turn this down a little bit. I'm waiting for Ross Ulbricht to speak. He's going to be speaking live. Of course, Ross Ulbricht is the man who was sentenced to 2 life sentences, and had been in jail for over a decade for this Silk Road website, a free market website that allowed people to, buy and sell, trade anything. And it had a lot to do with getting Bitcoin on the map in terms of its use cases, but it wasn't the only use case for it. And I'll just mute that in the background. Anyway, in the show notes, I've got some information there about how you can sign up with Kraken. It's about a 2-day offer. If you sign up and buy at least $200 worth of crypto, then we'll both get, I think, a $75 bonus worth of Bitcoin. Now, there's terms and conditions that maybe I don't understand in all this, but you got to be realistic about this. It's going to take you probably an hour to an hour and a half to go through the sign up process and get all that stuff done. It is a pain in the ass. You've got to prove your identity. You've got to link your bank or a credit card or something to it. And then you've got to confirm that they're going to probably make a deposit, and you've got to go look up in your bank and see what that deposit was and tell them that amount. It's usually a few cents. But this could be rewarding. You'll get $75. I'll get $75 if it's done within 3 days of this broadcast. Terms and conditions apply that I'm not necessarily aware of. So, take a look at it. But Kraken, a trusted name in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So anyway, I'm pitching that today. And that could be a nice thing. If you're going to be buying at least $200 worth of crypto, use that code. Let's see if I can put it on the screen for you. Yep, I can do that. I'll put it down here in the chat. Then you can click on it. All right. So I just cut my hair today, and I'm feeling so much better. My hair gets a little disorderly, and then I just feel all out of sorts. And it really helps me to feel more emotionally grounded when my hair is cut. It's an interesting thing there. All right, there it is. There's the code on the screen. And maybe you've got questions you'd like to ask about cryptocurrency. Here, I'll put this link in the chat if you want to use your webcam and show your face on the show. You're welcome to join in, and I've got that link, the Talk Studio link. And there it is. I've been telling people, promoting the idea of Bitcoin since 2009. There was about 4 years where I didn't know about Bitcoin, and that was because the police had stomped on my head and clubbed me 15 times. So that made me have amnesia over the whole thing. So anyway, that's something to keep in mind. But I heard about it again in 2012 and got really excited about it. And that became the center focus of my activism for many years. You're listening to Joe Baker's Remedy Report, a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, and increased awareness. The show is brought to you by my project called Forgiveness Capital, where we champion the infinite worth of each one of us. And we're kind of brainstorming about new financial systems to kind of get us out of this mess so that we can get everybody on an equal footing. Like instantiating new wealth and spreading it around. We can do that by agreement. And some people, we may have to twist their arm to get them to agree. And there's plenty of ways of doing that. Not that we're really coercing them. These are the people who have been harming us anyway. So we already have leverage. It's we just have to present the evidence in a confident way that there's no denying that we're right about their wrongdoings and the value of those wrongdoings. So let me check and see if Ross Ulbricht is speaking. Not yet. I'm going to share the screen that I'll have it on already. Let's take a quick listen to that.
But and he has promised to rebuild the firm and take care of the families. He promised to pay the families 25% of all profits for the next 5 years and pay for their health care over the next 10. And ended up giving the families $180 million. And one of my favorite parts about Cantor today is we had my dad created a standing job offer to all the kids of the affected families. We've had hundreds of kids come and go through Cantor, and there are about 20 to 30 that work at the firm today. So it's really, really incredible. And my dad gets a lot of praise, obviously, but he and I really credit all of it to the Cantor employees. They really, really stitched our souls back together. They did everything, so we're incredibly grateful for that. But Cantor today, thank you. Cantor today is 14,000 employees globally. It's 3 firms. It's BGC, which is public, which is the largest wholesale.
So that is you're hearing and watching a little bit of the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas, Nevada for 2025. This is their day 3 live stream, and I'm kind of sitting by waiting to hear from Ross Ulbricht. He's going to be speaking. In the meantime, again, here's the code. If you'd like to get an invitation into Kraken Pro, it's quite a nice thing. They're offering $75 worth of Bitcoin to both me and to you if you sign up here, I think in the next 3 days, and make a transaction of $200 or more of buying crypto. I'm seeing. It's funny. I've been a customer of Kraken for some time, and I'm seeing tons of ads for these crypto exchanges on YouTube. Like, well, they've got my number. They've got me figured out. So I'm seeing them from crypto.com. They're not bad. Coinbase.com still owes me money. They haven't paid me for a class action lawsuit, and but they're otherwise they're pretty good. They did deny a friend of mine the ability to get in and buy crypto back in the early days, and if I were him, I would be all over their case about that. Yeah, I remember him trying to buy like $200 worth of crypto when Bitcoin was about $5, and so he would have had 40 Bitcoins from that. Right. So, well, let me take a look at what's going on over here. I think I paused the live stream. It's nice. I can go backwards too. I wonder if they had Ross Ulbricht on earlier. So I'm gonna scoot way back in the timeline of the stream. Hopefully, I didn't miss Ross Ulbricht. That is, if there's one thing in this world that really caught my heart, it was the sadness of the whole ordeal. Ross Ulbricht being penalized for so long. All right. No, it's not. Just few months. It's not available yet. 10 million users. All right, I'm muting that so it's not distracting us. So, what can you say? Oh, I got my ticket printed for the Bitcoin conference. I won't be able to attend in person, but I thought I'd sign up for the free ticket anyway. I like to keep some of these old things about Bitcoin. Like back in 2012, I was looking at the price of Bitcoin, right, and how it was going up and up and up. Now this was the 1 year thing of Bitcoin, and this was 2013, March of 2013, March 22nd, and that price had gone up to like $73, and back here it was at about $5 in 2022. So from $5 to $73, right? And I'm showing this is my pitch chart. I'm going around where I work and I'm talking to everybody I can get in front of. I'm saying, I want you to look at this. And here's the market capitalization. It went from $200 million. I got to look at these zeros properly, right? And it's going to take $200 million up to $800 million. So that was the market capitalization, as they talk about. And that was, I think, over a 1-year period as well. No, that was a 60 days. That was a 60-day rise. As I look at the, and then here's the transaction fees. I would show people how the transaction fees were starting to surge as demand grew for Bitcoin, and it went through its growing pains. This was a chart that from blockchain.info, and it showed the hash rate. And this was a Bitcoin miner, the 30 and the 60 gigahash Bitcoin miners from Butterfly Labs. And I got 2 of each of these, I think, 260s and 230s. And I was mining Bitcoin in the data center from Butterfly Labs. The story on Butterfly Labs is that they were way behind schedule, and by the time we got them, we really lost our advantage. So they were selling the 30 and the 60 gigahash versions. This one was 1,500 gigahash. This one was expensive. This was $29,000 to buy this machine. These were $649 and $1,300. I would have been better to just keep the money in Bitcoin than to buy the miners. And then I'd have these charts that show, financial projections. And I would say, just buy and hold Bitcoin, baby. So that is the thing. If you're just joining us, I'm pitching that if you don't have a cryptocurrency account yet, and you think you might do at least $200 worth of buying cryptocurrency, this is a great opportunity for you to earn $75 and for me to earn $75 if you use this promo code at the bottom with a company called Kraken. They're trusted, well respected in the cryptocurrency arena. And one thing that's important is that you won't probably be able to transmit your crypto for 7 days. When you first start up an account, they're kind of, they want to make sure that, the funds are coming in. They're going to not be yanked back on them, right? Some people with the, consumer protection laws, they want to reverse their transactions, and crypto is not reversible like that. In general, it's not. So, we're talking about my old Bitcoin memoirs. Here's a Bitcoin mining proposal I put together, and with estimated returns of like $16 million or something off of an investment of 500,000. And my commission would be $1.7 million. Here's one of the early Bitcoin conferences. I don't think it was necessarily the first one, but it really did happen. Bitcoin 2013, and I was there. Here's an old Firefox web page printout of a story about from AmericanBanker.com and swapping Bitcoin privacy for banking convenience. It's like, hey, pretty cool stuff. So I've been in this stuff a long time, even longer than at this time when I made this pitch book. I had forgotten that I had been promoting Bitcoin back in 2009. Here's Coinbase.com early on their early webpage back in 2013, and I have a note there that it was a venture of Y Combinator and others invested $600,000 into the Coinbase exchange. Of course, now Coinbase has gone public. Here's some of their things why you'll love Coinbase. And of course, Coinbase hasn't paid me my money from the there's a class action lawsuit that I'm a part of, and they haven't paid me, so I don't feel I have to be silent about it. In fact, I think I'll get on that right now and sue them for paying other people but not paying me. I'll use my service mark with the U.S. Patent Office that they're violating my intellectual property by omission. So the other things that we do on this show are biofield tuning. Let's do some real-time sound healing. I've got back here some tuning forks, large bag of them. And I'm kind of doing this show today on a whim, and I should probably be doing some other things. I've got some chores to do. Water some plants. Look after the cats. Well, my hockey puck is missing. That's what I usually hit the tuning fork with. Let's take a quick peek at what's going on in the Bitcoin conference right now.
There are still people on the earth that are scared of Bitcoin, and we want to bring them into this ecosystem. So what we're going to do is we are going to provide them upside while giving them downside protection secured by physical gold. And it's going to be really, I think, one of the great products of the earth. And I really think it's going to really open up this community and hopefully, make this conference 10x bigger by next year. So I'm super excited.
I think it's a very cool project.
Thank you.
It's a very cool project because, again, it's our job is bringing more and more people to Bitcoin and explaining to them that, grabbing them by hand, bringing them closer to the ecosystem to understand how it works properly and providing great products that can help them to become more comfortable is I think is very powerful.
Why don't you tell me about what do you think the next 3 to 5 years look like?
All right. So back to the live thing here. Ross Ulbricht, recently freed and a headline speaker at the Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas, will be speaking live today, May 29th, 2025. The event is taking place at the Venetian Las Vegas and is expected to draw significant attention from the Bitcoin global community. For those unable to attend in person, the conference is being live streamed by Bitcoin Magazine, the official media partner and organizer of the event. Previous days of the conference have been streamed directly on Bitcoin Magazine's website, and the same platform is expected to host the live stream for Ross Ulbricht's session. You can access the live stream and real-time updates for the event at Bitcoin Magazine's conference section. Well, there you go. So we are streaming live on, let's see, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So I'm happy to be on LinkedIn. Very happy to be on LinkedIn. I've got a large number of people in the cryptocurrency groups there. I've made so many contacts from my involvement with the Bitcoin meetup in Silicon Valley. So I'm talking up today. I'm kind of hawking this because it might mean a little bit of money for me, some revenue. And it's a good thing for you. This Kraken is a cryptocurrency exchange you can use to link it to your bank or your credit card, and you can buy cryptocurrencies there, many of them. The first time you sign up with them, it can take about 7 days before they'll let you send the cryptocurrency to another wallet. And this is just to make sure that they're that the funds that they got are stable and aren't going to be reversed, those charges. So that's okay, as long as you understand it. There's description down in the down below talking about this, and I put the link in the chat room so that you can use it. And if you buy $200 worth of crypto with Kraken, then we'll both get $75. How's that? As long as you do it within, I think it's 3 days. There's other terms and conditions that may apply. So have a look and write that down. Otherwise, I hope that you keep an eye on the Bitcoin Magazine website today. I think I'll probably break off here for now. I wish I had my tuning fork. I have the fork, but not the hockey puck. It should be in here. I keep this bag. I've got this where I keep some of the tuning forks in. And then I've got this Swiss Army bag. It was given to me as a gift. It's a nice thing. But inside of it, I don't see the hockey puck. It's the darndest thing. I also do some work with healing energetics with these kind of rings. I made this one. They're kind of patterned after the work of Slim Sperling. And I don't know if you've got clairvoyance, you might see a kind of light coming out from the ring. But for most of you, probably not. Anyway, if you were on an airline flight, this might be a really nice thing to have around your arm. One caveat: copper is toxic, so touching this does give you a certain amount of toxicity. But what I've learned to do is to not use the ring, but I can imagine that the ring is here. And if you were clairvoyant, you would see the emanation of the energy from the ring, I imagine. How about that? Interesting to learn how the world works. Well, there's no hockey puck. I could use a shoe, I guess. Does anybody have any injuries or something, or disease conditions that you'd like to have worked on? I'm here. Does anybody have any disease conditions or injuries you'd like to work on? Just speak up in the chat room. Do a type of sound healing called biofield tuning. It can work on emotional issues like mental triggers, PTSD. Maybe you've got a bad shoulder, maybe your knee. Let's work on your knee a little bit, hey? I always think that doing people's knees is a useful thing, because maybe on down the road it'll save you from replacing your knee. Move this over here so you can see the microphone and the tuning fork. And I'm just imagining your knee is right here. Both of them, actually. And then, let's see, what else can we say here? And if you're going to be buying crypto, I would suggest that my favorite coin right now is XRP. It's my favorite in terms of its immediate potential for upward price movement. My favorite coin is Secret, SCRT, Secret Network. But I think XRP is going to shoot up a lot quicker and faster, and Secret Network may not even go anywhere. I don't know, but it is my favorite. It has the technology that I like. All right, now I'm going to work on the knee from the timeline. 6 feet. 5 feet. 5. 4. 4 feet. There's something going on over here. about 3 feet and 8 inches. So we'll kind of linger there for a little bit. Wonder whose knee we're working on here. Today we're using a 174 hertz tuning fork. We've got down in the description, there's an offer. We can both earn $75 if you're going to be buying at least $200 worth of crypto. The let's see, I'll show it on the screen. It's from Kraken, and there's my invite code. I'm going really slow through this area because there's a lot of interplay going on. And the more we kind of work on here, the more your body kind of auto tunes and auto corrects itself. And this might be somebody who's going to watch the show later. Kind of interesting how all that back pressure can happen. If you've got a comment, please maybe say where you're from or which platform you're watching us on. It'd be nice to know. And if you've got an ache on your body or maybe a disease condition or psychological type of thing, maybe you got PTSD from something, if you can say the year, the date that it happened, we can zero right in on it and kind of clear that. You can have emotional impact. What I mean to say is sometimes you can cry a lot from it, or that's a possibility. Day 2 live stream. Why? So I'm streaming ahead to find out what's going on here. Skipping ahead, make sure.
Institutions, when we launched last year, institutions were coming to us and they were saying, we now have Bitcoin on our balance sheets and we've made that public, but we still can't really do anything with it. We're used to using our capital to generate extra yield. We're used to using our capital to collateralize it, to take out further loans. And we're not able to do this in this ecosystem yet because the solutions just aren't there. But the time is ready, the tech is there, and we're here to bring that to market. And so we've introduced XAT banking solutions. And we also introduced XAT on the Volta network. Volta was launched. The ticker is now live. It's tradable. If you go on Binance, go on OKX, all of the major exchanges, it's listed on over 200 exchanges. It's a deep liquid market, about $1 billion worth of assets right now. Deep liquidity, $200 to $400 million in trading volume. And that's really at the core of...
So that is going on live at bitcoinmagazine.com. And I'm just kind of skipping ahead, trying to get to the very end of the leading edge of the live stream there. We're just keeping an eye on what's going on there. I'm hoping to hear Ross Ulbricht's speech. He's been released from jail, and thanks to Donald Trump's pardon. And this biofield tuning is the sort of thing that we can do for people who are prisoners, behind bars, because they can't stop us from treating their biofield remotely. Let's see, I've got some new mail. Wonderful, wonderful. So what else can we say here or do? Let's see if I have any music. Documents. Remedy report.
The lights go down, clouds are shivering. It's the space, the feeling's electric. We're ready to rock, no time for fear. We're in our zone, the FC's infectious. Oh yeah. All eyes on us, we're gonna light it up. No one can stop us. We're unstoppable. We got no holding back. Let's celebrate, show there's no looking back. Yeah. The lights go down, the crowds are cheering.
All right, here's another intro type of thing I've got.
Get ready for Joe Baker's Remedy Report, the show that tackles the hottest topics with a lighthearted twist. Join Joe as he explores economic innovation, health hacks, and more, all served up with a side of humor. It's all for entertainment purposes, but with a dash of controversy. So stay tuned for a fun-filled ride on Joe Baker's Remedy Report, where laughter meets the headlines.
Oh, that was fun. These are some old intro things that I worked on a long time ago. Symphony of Change, call this.
Forever will keep forgiveness echoes in the air, bringing healing, love, and care. Economics blend with grace, creating a better time and space. In the harmony, health takes steps on our way, learning AI lights the path each day. Oh, the symphony of change, let it play. In this grand.
Now, there you go. Let's see, what else do I have? Background audio, podcasts, graphics, guests. Here's another version of that first song. All eyes on us. So we're listening to some AI music I had written, or not written, I charted or whatever you do. I think it was probably a free type of thing, but that's kind of nice. So we're just sitting here. The Bitcoin conference is going on, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. I'm waiting for Ross Ulbricht to speak. He was pardoned he was involved with the Silk Road apparently, and had a two lifetime sentence. And I'm so happy that he's pardoned. Being an advocate of Bitcoin in the early days was a difficult thing. So many people thought it was just for illicit activities, and that's not the case. One of the most illicit activities there is today is the United States banking system. They invent the money that they lend out of thin air, and they make people, pay taxes and all this stuff to feel pain, to feel real pain, and in relation to the money that they use. And this makes the illusion all that more, I want to say palpable. I'm not sure that's the right word. It makes the illusion feel more real when you actually are in fear and pain and hunger and all these kinds of things. So anyway, Bitcoin is a better illusion than the dollar banking system. And another important update is XRP, and I'll be probably talking a little bit about XRP as well here. I think this is a really good time to get in markets. Not that there won't be a pullback in its value, but I've never seen so many financial rails. When I mean by rails, you know how the United States opened up the West by having railways that could take, you know, large things back and forth from the West. And when we talk about financial rails, that's what we mean. We mean being able to move vast amounts of wealth into this new realm of cryptocurrency. So down below on the screen, there's a link for Kraken, and you can see it in the both in the description below and in the chat room. You can click that. It's a chance, an opportunity for you to get connected to these rails in a small way. Now, when I talk about the big rails, I'm talking about institutional rails, where these things are starting to be seen as electronically traded funds on the stock market. And there are like at least 12 of these electronically traded funds that are, you know, the applications are in the works with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And now we have a pro cryptocurrency president, Donald Trump. So this is going to mean a big shift in where money and wealth are put. And people are wanting to be able to control their own money outside of the banking systems, and XRP lets them do that, and they can put it in the banking systems and so forth. So, you know, these big institutions like government retirement funds are looking to these types of investments as part of their mix. Not the whole thing, but some of their wealth is going in there, and a small amount of their, you know, pension funds for these retirement things represents a lot of wealth. And then there are corporations that are starting to put cryptocurrency on their balance sheets that they want to keep. They want to have some of that in there because of its strong likelihood of an upward surge in value. And you know, there's a likelihood of a lot of other types of investments going down in value. And, you know, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen, you know, but there are people who make a profession out of trading in markets, and they apply these diligent studies to cryptocurrencies, and they make a lot of money on this kind of stuff. And when you make money like that, they call it capital gains. And then there are capital gains taxes on these kinds of things. Well, Donald Trump's in office, and I'm hearing a lot of things about there being pushes to eliminate capital gains taxes. This latest election was a huge influence by the cryptocurrency companies. Kraken, that you see below, is one of the big donors. Coinbase was another one, but the biggest donor into the from the crypto space into the winning group of people in this past election was a company called Ripple. And Ripple is tightly affiliated with a cryptocurrency called XRP. Let me put that up on the screen for you. But anyway, so I think I've got XRP. Here we go. XRP Ripple and new economic rails. I think that is a big thing to push on. I've been talking up Bitcoin since 2009, when you could get when the first transaction for Bitcoin was like 10 Bitcoins for a penny, and I think 10,000 Bitcoins were traded for delivery of a couple pizzas to a house. So that's what kind of established the first price. It wasn't really a market per se, but it was involved in the first financial transaction as such. Of course, now we're seeing a price per Bitcoin of over $100,000. I saw recently $109,000 and $106,000. It varies, but this is a big opportunity. I think people should get into and buy XRP. I don't think we can call this financial advice, but this is more common sense values about what's right and what's wrong in life, and how we value some things more than others. So if you want to call it financial advice, I beg to differ. This is the financial system that they put in place, and the regulatory things on it are really in question about their morality. So let's just talk about something that's provable, like maths are provable. Banks are not provable by maths. They're not. They can lend out more money than they have through interbank lending protocols, and that's just the way it is. And there's all these things covering up each other in case they falter. They've got insurance with the FDIC, who doesn't have very much money on deposit to cover it all. They collect some insurance payments from the banks, but that's not enough. I remember calling the FDIC and asking them how much they had on deposit, and it was only $42 million. And here they're insuring billions and billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions. It's all quite the illusion. And yes, government does tend to come in and bail out some of these banks when there's the likelihood of a systemic risk. But that may not always be the case, and we'll see. Anyway, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and XRP, you can manage those as long as there's an internet connection. You can transact them. If there isn't an internet connection, your funds are still safe. Your coins are safe, until it reconnects later, and so that's a powerful thing, and it puts value in your hands, and the ability to transmit value anywhere the internet can take it. So, well, what else do we have? Does anybody need any me to focus this sound energy? I've got this tuning fork, and I can play it, and you'd be amazed what it can do for people's aches and pains. I like to say it helps to bring harmony to the world when I work on this, as does the cryptocurrency helps to bring harmony. I'm working on other ways of doing that. Let's see. One of my websites is joebitcoin.org, and I rechanged the name over to Remedy Report some time ago. Let's see what's going on at the Bitcoin conference. I'm going to show this and mute myself. They're doing a commercial, I think.
$100 billion. That's how much custodial Bitcoin-backed lenders lost in 2022 alone. We decided to build a better solution, one that doesn't require you to give up self-custody, Lava Loans. Lava Loans is a non-custodial loan product that gives you cryptographic proof, not just legal or reputational assurances that your collateral is safe. Lava is the most secure way to borrow against Bitcoin. Try us out today.
We're getting ready to hear if Ross Ulbricht might be speaking next. I'm going to mute that. Never know what kind of music they're going to have. Yeah, power is one of the big things for Bitcoin, you know. People are always looking to get more power because it's part of the mining, the way the system works. It takes a lot of power. All right, let's see what they're saying here.
The tide of free speech has turned, and it's unstoppable. At Rumble, creators are unfiltered, uncensored, undeniably bold. Powered by our own cloud, we are completely independent. Through the Rumble Advertising Center, we're rewarding authentic voices. This is where crypto creators and communities who value freedom and authenticity belong.
I'd just like to take a moment to diss Rumble. They're selling ivermectin a lot, and ivermectin is a poison you should not be taking in your body. It may give you some short-term benefits, but really you need, if you're into using things like ivermectin, you need to change your ways and start learning to eat less toxic food. And that's going to mean reevaluating everything you think you know about fruits and vegetables, about meat and chicken and all this, and about fat and vitamins. And I hope you learn by learning from Dr. Garrett Smith, nutritiondetective.com, and he's got a YouTube channel called Nutrition Detective. I help him with his broadcasts. I find that's one of the most impactful things that I can do in this world is to help this genius mind that he goes through the research, and he shows that vitamin A is a toxin, copper is a toxin. He shows it by demonstrating how it impacts the digestion and enzymes in your body. The enzymes that are important for detoxification, like aldehyde dehydrogenase, CYP450, ALDH, and and ADH. These are basically a lot of the enzymes that are used to process alcohols, and vitamin A is an alcohol. So why are they calling it an essential nutrient? This question we ask a lot, and we keep driving it home, and we see so many people benefiting with uncurable, quote unquote, disease conditions by long-term focus on removing these toxins from their diet. Let's check in and see what's going on with these guys. Are they going to?
We can just broadcast those. So BTC Sessions, he told us, yeah, I was the one who actually directed the Bitcoin to the Canadian truckers. And so we immortalized him in the cartoon. And I think we made Justin Trudeau, that was his cartoon debut when he robbed the Canadian truckers in our cartoon.
Okay, interesting. Protagonist, antagonist?
That's right.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that subject matter? Do you feel like does it go over kids' heads? Is it meant for kids and parents to watch together?
Yeah, I mean, half the jokes we write for ourselves and then half we write for our kids. So yeah, it's meant to be a co-viewing experience. And there's going to be stuff that goes way over kids' heads and they'll laugh about in years to come.
Okay, fair enough. Back to the crowdfunding part. So you
Yeah.
said you have people. Are they greenlighting the themes of the show, or
They're
actually
greenlighting the
propositions?
actual shows. So filmmakers will come and they'll submit 20 minutes of a show or a whole movie sometimes, and then our voters are asked 2 questions. Does this show amplify light in the world? And would you be really disappointed if we didn't make it? If if enough people upvote those 2 questions, then we'll finance it. In the last 2 years, we've raised over $100 million for independent movies and shows that amplify light, shows about Bitcoin being at the top of our list.
Love this, Johnny. Back to you. What I'm wondering here is, like, why don't we have more shows, to use your term, that amplify light, that teach kids about Bitcoin, principles of freedom, self-sovereignty? Why is this unique to Tuttle Twins? Do you feel like there was just this gaping hole in the market? Why are you the first people that came to this?
I mean, so we went to the crowd and we said, if you want the show, please help us fund it. They funded our first season for $4.5 million. We broke the record for most crowdfunded kids show. And so I really do think it's really flipping that model of central planning, top down. Now it's a bottom up kind of thing where Hollywood has long since deserted its people, the people it's actually supposed to serve. Instead, it's been this very top down, woke garbage that we're reaping now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think about that, and the people watching, knowing that they may have contributed either their voice towards voting on it, donating some money. You know, when you watch that, you have to feel proud of that. Like, you're a part of this thing that's on TV. So you're not just watching for the entertainment value, but because you feel like you're a piece of it, much like being a part of the Bitcoin community itself, which is a really special dynamic that you've established. I want to go back over to you. What can we expect?
Well, there we go. We're just kind of watching what's going on. I saw your message there, Dave Curry, and put it on the screen. Keep reaching out, Joe. Keep up the faith. Great. Yep. So I'm peddling today this offer from Kraken. We could each of us could make $75 if you don't have a Kraken account yet. And Kraken's one of the crypto exchanges. If you're going to be spending $200 or more in the next 2 or 3 days, this might be worth doing, because you'll get 75 and I'll get 75. And that's quite a reward, isn't it? Now, it takes about an hour and a half to set up one of these accounts and to link it with your bank account. And then it takes patience, like about 7 days. They want this first transaction, when you first set up an account, they want it to settle, they call it. And so you can buy crypto right away and hold it on the Kraken exchange for a week, and then you can transmit it from there. It's a great thing. I think this, particularly this coin, I'll put it on the screen, called XRP. I think I'm just waiting for this thing to rock, to like go to the moon. So, people talk about percentage gains, 5% or something like this. When you double your money, it's 100%. And when you multiply your money times like 5, that would be 500%, or 50 would be what, 5,000%. I'm thinking these things, we're going to be seeing something on the order of a 50 times multiplier on the price of XRP. Let's take a look of what it looks like right now. And I'm not sure when, but I know that there are a lot of institutions that are involved in making a presence, a fund available on the stock market. Let's give you an idea of what this looks like. I can do this here. Share this instead and put that up there. So this is a program or a website called TradingView. A lot of traders use it. Here's the XRP thing. We're going to go to the full chart, I think. And let's look at the all-time price going back to 2017, 2014, even 2013. Looks like they had some action going on back then. And I knew some guys that were telling me to buy it back then, and I didn't want to have anything to do with the banks. And this is a cryptocurrency that's really kind of focused to interoperate with the banks and to do international transfers of money. And they're really aiming at taking over, like Swift. What Swift does for international payments, Ripple can do, for pennies of cost, whereas these other places, you're charging a big percentage. Well, I don't know the exact percent. Maybe it's 5% of your international wire transfer gets soaked up by fees, and can take days to settle, whereas this settles in seconds, and the fees are like less than a penny. So this is here. There was a big surge in 2018, and then the price came down, and then another surge happened here. Let's see, about 2021 with XRP, and this is kind of what happens. And then recently we've had Donald Trump get elected, and it's surged up quite a bit. What are we looking here? Why do we have this price like this? XRP versus US dollar. But it's not $70,000. It should be like regular. All right, there we go. And you might not be able to see that. I'll zoom in. That's not working right. There, that's a little better. I can hide this this part. And so now we're looking at a price of about $2.27. And like I say, this is all, there's 100 billion coins in XRP. There'll never be any more. And well, here's the other thing. Because of the institutional rails that they're putting in place, stock market people, what do they call them, will be able to take your order to buy something of an XRP fund. And the problem with the stock market is that you can end up holding an IOU instead of the actual stock or instrument that you're trying to buy. It usually doesn't matter to you because the stockbroker will honor the price of what it should be. But where this causes a problem is something called naked short selling. And I'm going to switch to the 1 day price of XRP, and somehow I've got to get back to the scale. Needs to be automatic. There we go. So there you go. That's the present price. And it's right now it's down up along the bottom of its trading range. So that's a good time to buy in. Well, here I'm just talking. Again, it's not really financial advice per se, but I like to talk about it nonetheless. So where do I think it's going to go? Probably within a year, we're looking at, maybe $200, something like that. That would be 100 times its present rate, maybe 90. Yeah, I think that we're going to see some, kind of banking crisis type of thing, and this is going to be there to save the day. And people are going to want to be moving their wealth onto cryptocurrencies because they won't be able to trust the banks anymore. At least until the banks start using a ledger-based system that isn't cheating people out of their wealth and causing them to feel pain just to uphold the illusion of their financial system. So that's that. If you'd like to get on with the take advantage, if you'd like to call in, you can use your webcam and your microphone and find this link in the chat and click it, and I'll see that you're waiting over on the side, and I can bring you in and we could talk. Of course, one of the things that I'm doing with Forgiveness Capital is I'm looking to find the way to bring about forgiveness as a financial instrument in the world. And I think that this can be done. A couple of my projects, one of them is remedycoin.com and one is antimoney.net. I'll type those. Maybe I've got them in here somewhere. I can show them to you. Add new, remedycoin.com. And these are, I've tried to put them on blockchains. I'm not really happy with the way it worked out. There's probably going to be a new release of these things at some point. And then antimoney.net. Like anti-money, I released that onto the Ethereum blockchain, and the fees have just been too high. So I've not done that. Let's take a look. You can find anti-money on Etherscan. Let's see if I can search for it. Let's switch this over. Oh, they say anti-money did not match any search. Let's see, anti-M. That's really sad that they don't list it. So I'll go to anti-money. And there I am standing on a big tree in the ocean. And it says inheritance for all. Problems anti-money seeks to resolve. Could there be a war of all against all? I'm Joe Baker, inventor of the anti-money concept. I feel that the money of today is causing all humans to be at war with one another. We fight for purchasing power, not realizing that in doing so, we are making everyone else fight harder as well. The existing system existing system of debt and scarcity can be replaced. Humans have infinite value. Our economic systems should take this into account. 2, there's a huge discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots. 3, money based on debt creates future obligations, which adds to the fire of the competition. And I should say that so much of that debt never gets paid and never will get paid. So why not shift to something else? 4, huge portions of the world are unbanked and lack collateral to participate in a debt-based economy. Solution: each participant issues the credit and forgiveness towards all of humanity. Each person on Earth would be offered about $10 billion worth of anti-money. This asset would be attached to a digital cryptocurrency named anti-money, anti-M, on the Ethereum blockchain. Contract ID number, there it is. Now let's see if we can get back to that. And we'll search for that contract number. And there it is. It is 0 value. And I've only done these few transactions with it. But this represents $240 quintillion worth of value, where am issuing forgiveness to each, like $10 billion worth of forgiveness to each person on the planet. And as people agree to get into this, they do so as well. And it establishes a ring of forgiveness. So anyway, that's the thing. Token tracker. Contract. Here's the code. I just found something that allowed me to issue a smart contract. The problem with Ethereum is the fees have been so high. If the fees really come down, I mean, to sub-zero, sub one, lower than a penny, then we'll have something. But until that happens, it's not going anywhere. Let's see how things are going at the conference.
Ads is a huge one. Being able to earn actual Bitcoin yield is a massive theme at this conference. So really putting your Bitcoin to work in the most productive way on decentralized rails so that we can actually accomplish the broader vision of Bitcoin really powering the global economy.
Amazing stuff. Q, over to you. So we're seeing a lot more technology that was often associated with maybe the broader crypto complex coming to Bitcoin layer 2s. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's wild to actually see that Rizzo's sort of foresight into this. I remember when we would have this conversation about 2-3 years ago, and a lot of us would knock everyone who would go to ETH or some of these other crypto purely like completely separate from Bitcoin, use it for whatever bullshit.
All right, so sorry, it takes a little bit to get that sound muted and get the audio back. Well, I'm happy that we've had a broadcast today. I'm remiss that I haven't gotten to hear Russ Albrecht speak yet, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. But I tell you what, I'm going to do, bring this to a close for today. Thank you for watching Joe Baker's Remedy Report. And the biggest thing you can do for me on this show right now is to probably take advantage of this code. Do yourself a favor, buy some crypto. I think you should buy some XRP and make that a goal of doing that before. Let's see, today is Thursday, Friday. Do it before the end of Saturday, won't you? And then we both get maybe some bonus. You should do it before the end of Friday to be sure. And look at the terms and conditions. Make sure you're happy with that. It's going to take linking up your bank and to the Kraken site. They're a well trusted exchange, and right. And then if you buy crypto right away with like $200 worth or so, then we both get like a $75 bonus. Wouldn't that be nice to have? Nice to have some crypto. Nice to have a little bit of Bitcoin. They would give you $75 worth of Bitcoin. So, and me, so it'd be like $150. Is coming back to us. Plus, you'll end up with $200 at least with the crypto you buy, and then you'll have to hold on to that for 7 days. They won't let you send that crypto off the exchange for 7 days for new accounts. So maybe that has something to do with this special offer. So let's move forward and get on these financial rails before the big institutions start buying it up. When they start buying it up, your tiny investment will suddenly be something they want very badly, and they'll be willing to pay large amounts for small amounts of crypto. I want to share something else with you. I had AI do some research for me earlier, and maybe it finally finished. Here we go. The 100% crypto multiplier effect, reverse fractional reserve dynamics in digital asset markets. Theoretical foundations of the crypto multiplier. The crypto multiplier describes a phenomenon where capital inflows into a cryptocurrency trigger disproportionately larger increases in market capitalization. According to BIS Research, the Bank of International Settlements, this multiplier effect arises because most crypto assets are held as speculative investments rather than transactional tools, amplifying price impacts when new capital enters the system. For XRP, observed multipliers reach 600x to plus 12.87 million inflows generated a $7.7 billion market cap surge in April of 2025. So what they're saying is that this $12.7 million inflow generated a 600-time growth in the market cap price to $7.74 billion in surge in the market cap. This contrasts sharply with transactional finance. Fractional reserve banking, banks expand money supply by lending deposits. Not necessarily true. Example, $2,000 deposit to $9,000 loanable funds. The crypto multiplier, investor inflows expand market cap via speculative velocity. Example, $1 billion inflow goes to $100 billion market cap, 100x multiplier. XRP specific amplification mechanisms. The ETF induced capital catalysts Approved XRP ETFs could attract $4 billion to $8 billion in the first year of inflows, with Grok AI estimating a 200x multiplier. Just $4.3 billion could theoretically propel XRP to a $1 trillion market cap from about $140 billion market cap. This leverages institutional participation, ETFs, lower entry barriers for traditional finance capital, supply shock dynamics, reduced exchange liquidity magnifies price impacts, utility-driven velocity suppression. XRPL's handling of Hidden Road's $3 trillion annual volume could reduce XRP's transactional velocity. If velocity drops from 10x to 5x per Grok's AI modeling, the same transaction volume could support a 2 times higher market cap, potentially doubling price impact. 3. Scarcity engineering. Locking 10% of circulating supply, example by institutions' liquidity pools, reduces effective supply. Combined with high inflows multipliers, this creates a black hole effect where capital inflows trigger self-reinforcing scarcity. Reverse fractional reserve dynamics. Traditional banking creates money supply through lending, deposits and loans, derivative deposits. Crypto multipliers absorb money supply through the core process is a market cap expansion via speculation. The risk profile is volatility from sentimental shifts, and supply impact amplifies perceived asset scarcity. Comparing the mechanisms of the Federal Reserve, the core process is money expansion via lending. The risk profile, bank runs from insufficient reserves. Supply impact increases money supply. That's a comparative analysis of money expansion mechanisms. Criticisms and practical constraints. Anyway, so I had to do this. If you'd like to get this, say you'd like to have the report on the crypto multiplier, and I'll be happy to email this to you. If you drop me a comment and your email through a private messaging link. Great. You've been watching Joe Baker's Remedy Report, a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, and increased awareness. I hope that you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.